You don't need super high levels of lighting. You don't need CO2 injection. You don't need like a high-tech setup, an expensive setup to have a beautiful aquascape. Hi everyone, I'm George.
And I'm Ray.
And today we're going to go into a deep dive about this beautiful little aquascape which Ray created how long ago?
It's about 2 months.
Really, is that all?
Yeah,
that's incredible.
2 months.
So I created a YouTube community thread asking you guys if you wanted a deep dive on this and any questions, and also posted a similar thread on the Facebook group Tropical Fish Keeping UK, which has 50,000 members, and there's lots of questions on there as well. So it's a Denelay Nano Cube, 30 litres.
That's right, yeah.
It's low energy, so...
Low energy, no CO2.
Low lighting, 6 watts of LED.
Yep, the LED 6 watt.
So this is an Aquarium LED lamp.
That's it.
8 hours a day lighting?
Yes, it's in two parts. So it's on for a few hours in the morning because of the dark mornings, and it's on again in the afternoon.
Okay, that's cool. And it has the Denelay internal filter?
Yes, one of the little mini sort of filters, shrimp safe ones.
Okay, great. And the substrate is like a natural quartz gravel at the front there?
That's it, yeah.
With mini landscape rock?
Yeah, so
as a barrier. And then behind that you've got, I think it's ADA Aquasoil Malaya.
Yeah, it is the Malay soil. It was sort of a clearance seal. It picked up a couple of bags of different ADA soils and used part of it in there. Perfect.
The wood is like a sort of generic bogwood.
Yeah.
And we're actually getting a little bit of staining of the water, I've noticed.
Yeah, it's been releasing tannins since it went in. And I do change the water sort of twice a week.
Twice a week?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. So
it's releasing quite a bit.
How much water do you change?
A good 50%, maybe.
50% twice a week, so that's more than most of you guys will be doing, and I would suggest that's one of the secrets to success that Ray's enjoying. Plant-wise, let's run through the plants. So we've got Staragini repens, which is actually an easy plant. A lot of people sort of think it's quite tricky, but it doesn't need CO2, it doesn't need a lot of light, and that is proof here. We've got some very small varieties of Anubias petite by the look of it.
Yep.
Some Bucophilandra red.
Whole mixture of Bucophilandra.
Yeah, Bucophilandra wavy green.
There's some brownie as well, and there's some deep purple, which is in vitro. It was actually a dish I brought back from Green Aqua.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. Shout out to the guys at Green Aqua. And there's Cryptocorini crispitula in the background. Finally at the top we've got some Salvinia auriculatus, I would suggest, which is the popular floating plant. Massive fan of floating plants at the moment. I'm just absolutely gobsmacked. It's I thought you've probably seen one of Ray's previous scapes which he did for his son Dara in Dara's bedroom. I'll link to that up there now. That was one of my favourite scapes that I've ever seen low energy wise, but this is soon becoming one of my new favourites, I've got to say. So that's kind of the hardware, the planting, the hardscape all covered, the maintenance is covered. What else do you do with the maintenance apart from the water changes?
I mean, the water changes for the first sort of month, I was actually doing that like every other day.
Right, okay.
Because I had crypt melt at the beginning.
Yeah.
So the crispitula melted away, and it was quite sort of dirty in there. You were seeing sort of a build up of stuff on the leaves. There was just, there was sort of stuff in there. It was one of the reasons I introduced the Salvinia as well, to just have more sort of feeding in there and just lots of frequent water changes. That's sort of stopped now, and it's just twice a week I do it, and even then it's more just to reduce tannins.
Awesome. What products are you using in there?
So it's the Aquascaper liquid plant food, the complete liquid plant food, and that's about 1 ml a day. It's not an awful lot, small tank, no lot of water.
Are you using a syringe for that to get the 1 ml?
Yeah, it's just through a syringe.
Yeah.
And I also, as the same as I do with all of the tanks, I do use the liquid carbon as well.
Liquid carbon. So this is like a bit of a contentious subject. So, liquid carbon is the vast majority of liquid carbon products, they're marketed as liquid CO2. They're actually nothing to do with CO2. They're actually glutaraldehyde, which is actually a very dangerous chemical, but they're diluted to such a low level that hopefully they're not toxic to our livestock or us. And you are dosing how much?
Yeah, it's 1 squirt a day, so that's
1 mil.
1 mil.
1 mil a day.
Yeah.
I've read so much about glutaraldehyde lately, and it is dodgy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it to you guys, but Ray's obviously enjoying success with it, so you can make your own choices. What I will say, it is an algaecide, and I think that's one of the reasons your tanks are so algae free.
Yeah.
Is because of the use of glutaraldehyde.
Yeah, I think that.
I have tried to convince Ray to stop using it and see what happens, but he's worried of the algae return, so we'll see how we go. So that's interesting. So 1 mil of the Aquascape complete liquid plant food every day, and 1 mil of the liquid carbon every day, and the twice a week 50% water changes, and relentlessly just keeping it clean, keeping the glass clean.
I've been adding a little bit of pristine in there as well.
Oh, okay. So Sea-Chem
pristine,
Sea-Chem pristine, so which is a waste organic kind of remover.
Right, yeah.
So I think it's a bacteria.
That's right.
It's a special strain of bacteria which basically eats dirt.
That's it.
I think 3 products, obviously all working very well in conjunction with each other, combined with a good maintenance, great plant growth. How heavy did you plant from the start?
I mean, all of the stuff apart from Salvinia was in there from the start.
I saw it when you first set it up, so I've seen, I would say, considerable growth. Surprisingly amount of the growth, considering it's only a 6-watt LED. And now you've got the floating plants, which is creating more shade, and the Staragini is still thriving. So hopefully it gives you a bit of encouragement, guys, that you don't need super high levels of lighting, you don't need CO2 injection, you don't need like a high-tech setup, an expensive setup to have a beautiful aquascape. So I think it's really encouraging, hopefully, for beginners that are watching. Can you give us an indication, if you don't mind, of how much would you say this entire system has cost you?
150 probably when you factor in plants and things as well.
That's a really good price.
I mean, it's not a huge investment, is it?
No.
For something that's a long-term tank. You know, it's going to be growing.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's great value. And livestock, we haven't talked about livestock yet, so I can see just the regular cherry shrimp in there.
Yeah, that's all that's in there at the minute, although it is going to become the home for a betta.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's moving out of the tank.
We'll have a betta. And the shrimp are breeding?
Yeah, they're breeding away.
Okay.
Yeah, they seem
to
look
great. I can see a very female there already.
Yeah.
And your water chemistry, do you have any idea? Do you test your water?
I don't.
No.
Do you know, I've never, I mean, at the very start when I got into things, I used the little sort of dip tests.
Yeah.
I just wasn't learning a lot from them, and I think, again, it was sort of following advice from you as well.
Yeah.
You know, I just became more comfortable with the fact that if I was doing things right and if I was changing the water each week, you know.
Testing's an interesting one, and I would never recommend people never to test. But I think testing is good if there's a problem, so you might be able to identify the problem. And test kits can be useful for spotting trends.
Yeah.
But for a lot of folk get kind of obsessed for testing for nutrient levels and pH and nitrate and phosphate and things like this. But actually, I believe if you focus more on just the good maintenance practice, healthy plant growth, the good water changes, test kits are unnecessary. So we know you've got hard water because you have like lime scale build up in your kettle. That's a good kind of indication. So we know the water's hard. So we actually know that the water is going to contain enough kind of minerals like magnesium and calcium. So there's no need to test for them. Even if there's nitrate and phosphate in the tap water, that's no problem because the plants are going to use it. And actually, you can add more via an inorganic source such as the liquid fertilizer. So we don't need to test for nitrates and phosphates. We don't need to test for ammonia because you're doing these huge water changes. We've got really good plant growth. Ammonia is the preferred nitrogen source for plants. Yeah. So if you've got healthy plants, you really consuming it. There's hardly any ammonia production anyway because we've got shrimp which produce virtually no waste. Let me just dive through some of the questions and we can have a look. Which fish would you like to see in this aquarium?
Yeah, it's a betta.
We're going to have a betta. What would you stock in there? Put it in the comments below. That's always a good one, isn't it? Oh, how about algae management on the Anubias and the Bucophilandra?
Again, there's none in that. There's no sort of sign of it in that tank. And in Dara's tank as well, where the Anubias and the Bucophilandra has been growing for a long time. Yeah. There's pretty much zero sort of algae. And
I would suggest the reason for that is the use of the liquid carbon plus the good maintenance practice and healthy plant growth.
And low lighting.
Low lighting is very important. And now the shade as well, provided by the floating plants. How do you keep the filter from pushing the floating plant underwater?
It's not a very powerful filter, you know, is the first part.
It's not, is it?
And it's actually the water that's coming out is going directly into the Java fern as well. Which
okay. So actually it's very little circulation, isn't there?
Which makes it perfect for a betta as well.
Yes.
So
yeah, I know you got some feedback.
Still.
Got some feedback on the last video, didn't we, on the vlog? Yeah, no problem. Bizet asks, would you sell it to me?
Would I sell it to him? Well, possibly.
Okay. We'll touch on that later.
Yeah, we'll touch on that later.
Yeah. What was your kind of motivation behind creating this particular style?
The particular style? Oh, that's a really tough one. It's a great question. I really don't like being able to see equipment in the tank.
Yeah.
And when you're using internal filters and stuff, I think it's nice to use a big bit of hardscape.
Yeah.
Something that actually covers that up and just renders it invisible.
It is a huge amount of wood in there.
It is.
I think it's great. What do you guys think? I think it's amazing and such a low energy, low cost, low maintenance. For me, that's like the perfect aquascape. You know, high impact, low cost, low maintenance. What more can you ask for?
And there's the other side to it was Bucophilandra. You know, I absolutely love Bucophilandra, and that's the sort of focus for that tank. It was to make it pretty much a.
And you must have planted it quite heavy because Bucophilandra is so slow, and there's quite a lot there already. So yeah, that's worth noting. How are they afforded so many Anubias Nano Petites? Well, we're very lucky in the UK. It's not so expensive, really. Is it what, £5-6 a pot?
Yeah, and that was only 2 pots of Anubias that went in there.
Let's dive on to the Facebook group, Tropical Fish Keeping UK. Chris Baum, hi Chris, thanks for all these questions. How old is the scape? Yeah, it's 2 months, we talked about that. It's when trimming plants, specifically carpet ones, how do you fish the cuttings out when you have small floating plants like Salvinia? Well, you've probably never done that yet, have you? Have you ever had floating plants and a carpeting plant at the same time?
No.
Okay. My advice is to literally remove all the floating plants because you can scoop them out with a big net, do your cutting, net that off, and put your floating plants back. Simple as that. That's what I would do personally. And do you find evaporation an issue? I
mean, it does evaporate, but because I'm doing sort of 50% water changes every week, it gets topped back up.
Exactly. So thanks to Mark Danby for that question, and thanks to Chris Baum for that, and everyone else that asked the questions, especially the ones on my YouTube community. I think we've covered almost everything. Is there anything else you want to talk about the scape, or?
I think that's it. It's a long-term tank. You know, that tank could run for years.
Yeah,
it could without any problems and requiring very little maintenance outside of water changes. It would just be a very easy to look after tank.
Perfect. Okay, Ray, thanks so much for your time. Thanks for inviting me into his beautiful home again. We do have something to announce. Can you let the viewers know?
Yeah, well, I guess it's back to the question of, is that tank for sale? In the background, we've been working away on getting a new shop set up in Norwich called Scaped Nature. So it's all about scaping.
That's exciting. So new aquascaping store coming in Norwich soon.
Yeah, opening early 2019.
Excellent. Okay guys, on that bombshell, we'll leave it there. You take care. Keep on scaping.
Thank you.
Cheerio.
I guess I felt there was a bit of a...
That'll be an outtake. I told him to put it on Do Not Disturb. Was it on Do Not Disturb?
I don't know.
Your phone's rubbish, mate. What is it? Google Pixel 3?
Yeah, we should give them a slate on this.
Yeah.
Sorry.